actually think the gun charge and the tax charge were intentionally brought about for the purpose of giving Joe Biden plausible deniability when he did pardon Hunter Biden. So we were asking ourselves all throughout the year, like, why are they charging Hunter? I mean, this is Merrick Garland's DOJ. Joe Biden could fire him and say, don't go after my son. How dare you? And the argument was they're using it as an excuse so that when they go after Trump, they can say they're not biased. Sure. I think there's a strong probability that they said, hey, if we lose this election, Trump is coming after us over Ukraine Burisma, and there's nothing we can do about it. What do? Okay, well, we'll issue a pardon for Hunter in his role and what he did at Burisma. But issue a pardon? If the year comes to the end and we say Hunter's pardoned over Burisma, they're going to say, what? What does that mean? You give him a couple light charges that are weird, and then they say, we're going to pardon him for these charges, but make the time frame very broad so it'll cover all of those Burisma-related scandals as well.
I think that I don't know that I have a strong conviction as to whether or not the intent of the gun charges and stuff was so that way they could get a broader blanket immunity. But I think it is pretty
an excuse for a pardon.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a take on that. But I mean, it's possible, but I don't have any kind of inclination for or against that. But that being besides the point, it is clear that this is about, more than just the gun and tax charges, because there's no reason to go back to, 10 years. I would like to see Congress subpoena Hunter Biden now because he's no longer protected by the Fifth Amendment. So he would have to actually answer any questions. He can no longer say, I stand on the Fifth Amendment. So if there is anything that is that's violated the law, that either I believe his uncle has done or that his dad has done, he would be, obligated to discuss it or talk about it. He couldn't say, I refuse to comment on this because it, could implicate me. So yeah, but that would be nice.
I've heard that, but it's kind of strange because that means this pardon covers every single potential crime he could have committed, meaning he has to testify to any of the weirdest things he may have done completely outside of any of these scandals. That seems weird to me.
It does, but you could start. The thing is, the laptop has a lot of information, and I personally don't know all the stuff. But
this means that he's been pardoned for any federal sex trafficking.
Yeah.
We got a lot of weird stuff on that laptop. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I think the majority of us in this room, the reason we're upset about it is because the Democrats as a whole, you shared a video of this, of them literally talking for 9 minutes. Your video was hysterical because it was sped up. But no one really has a problem with a father pardoning his son, saying, I'm going to defend my son. The issue that we have with this is that he said he was not going to do it. He lied directly to the American people. There's many articles that are out right now saying that it was always talked about in private that this was on the table. And so we knew that he was lying in the wholesale. But and this is something we
No, I agree with the lying part, but I actually disagree. He's a father pardoning his son. There's two reasons why I would disagree he should not have pardoned his son. And I'll throw it to Matt Walsh, who made the point almost immediately. It's one thing to protect your son because you don't want him to go to prison, but it's another thing to enable your son to be a bad guy who's creating shell corporations or whatever he's accused of doing to bypass taxes. You're not actually helping your son if you keep bailing him out of all the horrible things he does. But I think he shouldn't have got the pardon because I wanted to see him challenge the gun charge to the Supreme Court to get it thrown out. That they're charging him for self-incriminating on a Nix form.
So when I'm looking at this, you have to also consider that he waited until this point and said for this long he was not going to pardon his son because they threw every wrench in the system that they possibly could for an extended period of time. They stopped this from getting prosecuted in Washington, D.C. They stopped it from getting prosecuted in Florida. Every step of the way, I think he truly walked out there for a period of time and said, I will not pardon my son. And the reason is because he thought that he could use that leverage of power from his position as president to stop the process. And so once Donald Trump won, then all the floodgates were going to open up against Hunter Biden. And just remember what they did to Donald Trump. They sent Miami SWAT through his front door because he had allegedly documents in his building. To the rest of the presidents and vice presidents, NARA, the National Archives Records Administration, basically issued a casting call, said check between your couch cushions and make sure you don't have any classified documents like H.W. Bush was going to find something from Saddam Hussein in his chest of drawers, right? But instead, they send all of the police and, basically raid Mar-a-Lago over allegedly having documents, and in addition to that, continue to throw lawfare after lawfare against him through the Merrick Garland Department of Justice. And so once Trump wins, they realize we're no longer going to be able to use the wheels of our justice to our advantage, and it's completely off the table now. So he might have gone out there for months saying, I will not pardon my son, because he thought he could use his position of power to his family's advantage.
It's possible that they didn't think they would lose. You know, I mean,
No, they didn't think they were going to lose.
you know, I mean, there was probably, especially
I mean, did you
Trump was gone.
But did you see the story that Kamala's internals always had her behind Donald Trump? They knew she was
was
down.
he making comments about not pardoning Hunter before Kamala?
That's the thing.
took over?
Before he got swapped out.
I think that he was under the impression, he thought that he was going to be the guy. And I think that the reason that he was behaving the way he did is because he believed that he was going to beat Donald Trump. He's like, I'm the only guy that's beaten Donald Trump. You know, there's no one else that apparently is going to. I'm the guy that the Democrats have chosen to run. So he'd made all the, you know, he was making all the moves as if he was going to be, you know, it was going to be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. And then the debate just, you know, threw a wrench in the works, and they had to change. They had to make a change.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also the statement that he made saying that very few people are ever charged for falsifying a record on a gun buying thing. Obviously, these people have never dealt with the ATF. They've never dealt with trying to run a gun shop or anything. The ATF is so out of control. The Department of Justice is so out of control. I know several people, and I mean, like when you're filling out these gun forms, you go over them very carefully, because if you mess them up, you're going to you might go to jail. You also lose all your guns for a period of 180 days. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So I do think that that the intent was to, you know, set the stage for a second Biden administration. I don't think that it was about you know, that I don't think that they believed that they were gonna lose. I think that they believed that all of the years of, you know, 4 years of, well, more 8 years of Donald Trump's the baddest man in the world, and the orange man bad, and et cetera, et cetera. I think they believed that they were gonna win. I think that they probably were believing the internal polling saying that you know, Donald Trump wasn't going to be able to beat Joe Biden, and I think that it came up and it bit him in the ass.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.